Hello, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more League of Legends news. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's story. Of course, going to be a bit of a solo story out there, and big news announced this morning, guys. It will be, of course, recent allegations all around G2's Perkz, their recent acquiring of course, Fnatic caps, and a lot of rumors surfacing out there. Apparently, Perkz being accused of actually player poaching. Now, quickly to define out there for you guys, player poaching in its entirety, kind of a short TLDR version. There's certainly a bit more bounds to this. Pretty much when you're trying to approach other players or other organization members who are currently contracted with a separate organization and trying to get them to your organization or another organization, that is player poaching. So obviously in this recent case, guys, Perkz accused of approaching caps while he was under contract with Fnatic, and it's not only just one organization, apparently and allegedly multiple organizations accusing both G2 and Perkz of apparently player poaching. Of course, going to be a pretty big deal. I personally never really understood the necessities or the background of this, of exactly why it's too bad of a thing, but of course you can imagine a world without these rules. Well, players would be talking open mouth the entire season long, and likely, of course, trying to be tempting and persuading players to join their teams or join other teams the entire season. It could probably be pretty extreme pretty fast, and that's why these rules are in place. If you are contracted with a team, you are loyal and you are actually set to be loyal to that team as long as they're paying you, as long as you actually signed that original contract for. But here's where it gets very interesting, because this is not the first time that Perkz has been accused, actually stretching back to 2016. Multiple occurrences, guys, especially around the last Team Origin era before they came back this year. It was actually him allegedly approaching, I have to say allegedly because these are currently accusations, although there's a lot of backing out there for these allegations. It was Perkz apparently talking to both Sven and Mithy from that team. Now you actually, of course, have this most recent instance. Of course, the acquiring of Caps was a pretty big pickup, and nonetheless, you know, we could obviously say that Caps was going to join G2 no matter what, but if Perkz did break those rules, if G2 being a part of that organization and of course owning Perkz, if they did break those rules, there will be repercussions if there is any evidence to be found of this. And again, the fact that you have actually multiple organizations accusing, again, apparently accusing these guys of doing such things, it does make it sound a bit accredited, and it gives it a lot more backing than if it was just one organization saying, hey, you got a great player, there must be something behind that. So again, we're going to see what actually comes of this, guys. Maybe a fine, maybe a mid-season, early season ban coming for Perkz. I want to say I highly doubt this, but again, if evidence does surface that he broke those poaching rules, there will likely be repercussions. It was actually very confusing as well. If you guys were checking Twitter this morning, it was actually first Fnatic founder, that's Sam Matthews, taking to Twitter with a very, very direct allegation. There was no doubt about it. He said Perkz in the exact tweet. You guys can obviously read that yourselves. And so that was what initially sparked this controversy. And then it was actually Karn this morning, Fnatic co-founder or co-owner, that is, now announcing that it will be them not actually pursuing G2 or actually pursuing any allegations or pursuing any reports to Riot about this. So very confusing, Fnatic. You have one member, one chairman drawing this tweet out there, putting the controversy out there, throwing out the popcorn for people to eat, and then you have your co-owner saying, don't worry, we're not going to pursue anything. So first, you dug up the dead body, and now it's just out there for other organizations to look at. So kind of confusing for Fnatic, guys. Apparently, they are not one of the organizations actually targeting Perkz or G2, but other teams out there likely still will. So will we see repercussions? Yes, I mean, it's definitely likely, it's definitely possible. There's going to be some light fines thrown out there. We've seen just about the extensiveness of Riot's punishment so far this year. You guys remember the long list of Korean and European players out there who were actually given in-game toxicity reports and given $1,000 fines. Well, you guys can imagine for an EU, LCS, or LEC, or as well as a LCK player, $1,000 is really not much. And for the extensiveness of those toxicity reports, that was a pretty light fine. So will there be fines here? If there are, they're probably not going to be too much of a punishment. Will it be a 1 or 2 game ban? We've not seen too many of those ever in League of Legends history. So will there be punishment? I'm sure there will be. Will it be a great deal of punishment? I highly doubt it. Also, a bit of a comparison as well. I actually had the honor to cover this story back just over 2 years ago, guys, back in May of 2016. If you guys do remember, or your CSGO fans, a similar issue, kind of a different style of poaching. It was actually the CSGO team formerly known as LG. They still exist, but that roster was on their come up. It was a Brazilian roster back then. It still is today, and that roster allegedly had actually signed contracts with SK Gaming, while they had also signed letters of intent with Luminosity Gaming. So you sign a contract with one team, you sign letters of intent with another team. Obviously could come off as a poaching. On top of that, other allegations about SK Gaming really being aggressive in the fact that they almost forced these guys with poor English communication to sign these contracts while they had temporary contracts or partial contracts with LG. And so that was a whole brand new poaching scandal, guys. It actually did turn out to be letters of intent have a way to opt yourselves out. Those 5 players opted out of those letters, and they then joined SK Gaming because they had signed those contracts, which were more permanent, had more permanence than the letters of intent. So that was kind of a recent poaching scandal, and I say recent, that was still, again, back in 2016 when allegedly Perkz was also poaching players. But again, I'm of the side of things, I find it weird, right? It's very strange. We live in a time where other sports do have these same poaching rules, guys. You're not allowed to talk to other players or convince them to join other organizations or tempt them to do so while you're also contracted. It breaks a lot of legal bounds out there. So it's certainly a weird rule, but if you break those rules, there should be punishments. As always, my name is Jake. Hope you guys all enjoy. Leave a comment down below. Will there be a punishment for Perkz? Will there be a punishment for G2? At this point, I'm on the fence. I could see it going both ways, and hopefully something is done and hopefully something is said, but apparently several organizations believe something fishy did happen. Hope you guys all enjoy. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.